Hello, my name is Rich Meganson. I'm a principal software engineer at Red Hat. I'm going to show a demonstration about how to use Windows users in OpenStack and Keystone via FreeIPA LDAP. I have already set up Red Hat OpenStack 4 in a rhos6 VM that I used PackStack to set up. I have configured Keystone to use LDAP instead of the SQL backend that PackStack uses. I have set up another VM with Windows Server 2008 R2. I have another VM with Fedora 20 with FreeIPA. I have set up cross-domain trust between Windows and FreeIPA. I have moved all the OpenStack service accounts to FreeIPA. And I have set up Keystone LDAP to use the C=compat suffix in FreeIPA. This demo will cover creating a user account in Windows, enabling that Windows user account in Keystone, using the OpenStack dashboard with that Windows account, using the OpenStack command line tools with that Windows account, and showing how the Windows user is represented in FreeIPA LDAP in the C=compat tree. Here is our OpenStack dashboard listing our users. You can see all the service accounts in there. We have Keystone configured to use LDAP via IPA. You can see all the service accounts are in IPA. Keystone is configured to use the C=compat tree in IPA. So we could see all those users in LDAP as well. And there are all the service accounts. We've also configured IPA to use cross-domain trust with Active Directory at the domain 81dom.test. So let's go to that machine, create a user in Windows using the standard Windows tools. We'll call our new user OpenStack with the user ID of OpenStack. We'll assign the user a password, and we'll make sure the user is enabled immediately. And there's our user, so let's take a look at it. Looks like a regular Windows user account. So now let's go back to our OpenStack dashboard and look at our user list there, and we'll refresh the user list, and we don't see the user there. In order to use the user in OpenStack, we actually have to assign it a tenant and a role in Keystone, and it's not in the command line user list either. So the command we use in Keystone to enable the user is user role add. We specify the user ID, which is the username at the domain. We'll give it a tenant of demo, which is one of the built-in tenants that PackStack creates, and we'll assign it a role of member, which is also one of the default roles that PackStack creates. So these already exist. As you'll notice, the user ID is the user ID in Windows at the domain. So we actually have to specify at domain in order to use this Windows user. So we've added it. So now if we do a user list, there's the user in the list. If we go back to the dashboard and refresh, we can now see the Windows user in the list. So let's do something with this user in OpenStack. We'll log out as our admin account, and we'll log in as that user. So we'll see if we can use our Windows credentials to authenticate to OpenStack. And there we go. So now let's see if we can do something else. So we've got our default image here. Let's see if we can launch a virtual machine. So we'll assign a network. We'll give the name an instance. So we'll call it IPA AD test. Launch. And there we go. So we were able to use our Windows credentials to launch an instance. So now let's see if we can use the command line tools as well. So we'll set up our Keystone RC so that we can authenticate using our OpenStack user password to the demo tenant. Okay, now let's do Nova list. So we were able to use our Windows credentials to use the OpenStack command line tools. So let's go back to IPA it's not in our user list because it only exists in the compat tree. So if we do an LDAP search of the compat tree, we can see that our user is now in the compatibility tree. That concludes the demonstration. If you have any questions, my email address is rmeggans@redhat.com. I've enclosed some links below to my GitHub repository where I have scripts that I use to do the automated setup of the VMs and IPA and Red Hat OpenStack 4. Thanks for watching.